today we're going to talk about Alessandro Michele and his time at Gucci and his new appointing at Valentino. Here's a quote from Anna Winter from the CFDA 2016 Awards.
Since becoming creative director of Gucci, Alessandro has disrupted what had become a rather bourgeois house. He was hardly the obvious first choice, and yet seemingly overnight, his quirky but totally original point of view erased all that had come before. It was as though the world said, well, of course, this is Gucci. Alessandro himself once said, I am trying to cause a little revolution inside the company to push another language a different way.
So Alessandro got his start doing accessories over at Fendi. He later went to Gucci in 2002 during the Tom Ford era, where he also did bags. The Tom Ford era is really important because it made Gucci what it is today. Tom Ford really revived them and brought them back from the dead at a time where they were kind of lacking identity, but still had really good luxury, like more bags and accessories on the market. I'm going to include another video from Tom Ford, an early story of his where it was like an early contract.
It had been in my contract that I was not allowed to step out onto the runway. Maurizio Gucci really felt that he wanted the brand to be the important thing and not the fashion designer. So I had this moment where I was there and I could design whatever I wanted because no one was looking over my shoulder. And I was very proud of what I did, and I stepped out on the runway.
You have Michele at Gucci under Tom Ford. He's killing it. He's doing bags and accessories. And if you ever hear someone talking about the like 2002, 2006 era of Gucci and how much they love Tom Ford bags, it's safe to say that Michele was the one doing those. We have Michele starting at Fendi. We have Tom Ford over at Gucci from 94 to 2004. Michele comes to Gucci in 2002. So that's like a basis of where we're at. Michele's quoted saying his first interest in love with bags stemmed from his mom, and it was like at the age of 1.
Ogni volta, io sono ossessionato dalle borse in verità, cioè proprio mi piacciono tantissimo e ne ho quasi fatto utilizzo dal primo anno della mia vita, le utilizzo come oggetto divinatorio anche della sicurezza, come dicevi te, no? Del portare dietro un pezzetto di casa dove dentro ci sono delle cose che ti servono assolutamente. E dentro...
His mom was in the film industry and she would always go to these events because she's in the film industry. So she'd have a closet full of bags that Michele would find himself in. It's a great influence to have as a child. Like, just, it really makes sense. Like, you know, you read these stories and it's like some of these people were just like meant to be designers. Like I think Moa Lola's parents were also just fashion designers too. So after the Tom Ford era of Gucci, Alessandro continued to work at the house, but now under Frida Giannini. And Frida Giannini also came from Fendi, also came from the accessories, where she was later appointed head of leather goods. Frida's era of Gucci is really interesting to me personally because it has this like socio-political element to it. And what I mean by that is Frida's era of Gucci really went back to the high-end, wealthy, 30 plus kind of customer. With that, sometimes your views on life politically could lean a certain way. When you talk to someone about Gucci, it's almost like you can tell what side of the fence they are on like social issues based off of what era of Gucci they liked. If someone doesn't like the Alessandro era, they think for whatever reason it's tacky or like it's too much, or the people that were into it weren't real Gucci clients. Like that can kind of give you a good gauge on like what type of time they're on.
I'm ready to go back to something that's a little bit more wearable, easier on the eye. I don't think that people need to be spending and doing these crazy shows. It's 2023, you know, we're all living in really difficult times. And I like that restraint and that respect for what's going on.
Sorry to interject, it just felt a bit more individual. What I sort of find and struggle with the new collection is that it feels really uniformy. And I think in a time when people's voices need to be heard and expression feels really important? Is this the way that we should be going?
They think of luxury and like wealth in a certain way, certain limelight. Frida Giannini was there from 2006 all the way up until 2015. Frida did great things at Gucci. She definitely had her successes. I just think at a certain point, she kind of got lost in like trying to really cater to a certain audience that collections grew staler and staler as time went by. Right before the 2015 men's show, she was abruptly fired, and Alessandro was kind of tapped to finish out the situation. And look, they only had like 5 days to do it. And I think that's more of a testament of just like the miracles that can happen in the fashion industry. We really didn't get to see Alessandro's debut until the women's wear collection. And this collection is so great because this is the collection where we pretty much can see where Alessandro was going to take Gucci, his intent for Gucci, I guess you could say. This show really debuted a lot of softer silhouettes. A lot of men walked this show. Androgyny is a big part of Alessandro's world, really blurring those lines of like what masculinity can be and what it is. So this geek chic look that Alessandro was so good at really captured the zeitgeist of the moment, and I believe that's why he was able to do so well because it was just like the right thing to do at the right time, and he did it so well and so genuinely that it took over, rightfully so. During this time period, we saw an increase with Gucci sales. I think for the next 5 seasons, Gucci did really well. Um, he also got Gucci to he also got Gucci to hit the $10 billion euro mark. So this new look of Gucci, I think, really resonated with the youth because it came about expression and emotion. You could create these looks from Gucci without having to buy Gucci yourself, but you can embody the spirit of the brand. It's to my understanding that no one would actually get a full look from Alessandro, but you would maybe get a piece and incorporate it with your own style. Where you have someone like Frida, it's harder to see yourself in in the people that are walking down the runway or the people in the campaigns. It's something cool to aspire to, but in the moment, it doesn't feel like something that's very accessible for you. You have celebrities like Harry Styles wearing the Jackie bag. The Jackie bag was, of course, named after Jackie Kennedy. You know, when you think about this time, this is the 60s, right? So you have so many things going on in culture. You have the civil rights movement. You have, I'm sure, women's rights. A lot of shit was going on during this era. A lot of liberating, a lot of freedom. So once she's spotted wearing this bag, the bag became synonymous with Jackie Kennedy. And of course, her vibe at the time is she's the it girl. By putting Harry Styles in the Jackie bag, I believe Alessandro was trying to say if this bag could help free women at a time, that maybe this bag could also free men from the state of toxic masculinity. I think buyers had an issue with this as well because I don't think they had the foresight to really see how this was going to perform on the sales floor. All of this shit has to do well commercially or it doesn't matter. So obviously Alessandro's Gucci performed amazing. His maximalist throwback aesthetic reminds me of a rich grandparent's home with the weight of all the experiences and items acquired throughout life that slowly ages into these family heirlooms that drive our archival obsessions. Alessandro brought conversation to Gucci. To me, this is the strongest conversation we've seen at Gucci since Tom Ford. The pubic hair ads, the red looks, the embroidery on the jeans, all these strong moments from Tom Ford. I think Alessandro was able to pass that in a way. Although this feels like a breakup, I think Alessandro did what he could do at Gucci for as long as he could do it without it getting stale. I think you could kind of say the same with Demna at Balenciaga at this point. It's great to see someone be authentically them and it really changed culture. It doesn't work all the time. I have personal experience seeing a creative director trying to come into a brand and change it and it not really resonate with the traditional customer. It's hard for people to see it in another direction, in another light. It's really a true testament of like how good Alessandro is, and he really deserves his flowers.
I think it's interesting that really what Valentino came to represent is this kind of idea of European culture.
You thought Rome, you thought Sophia Loren, Fellini, Antonioni, and Valentino.
About Valentino. Valentino was born in 1932, a little village outside of Milan. In 1960, he opened his first house. He gained early traction by working with movie stars, people on the silver screen. As the house went on, he adopted that strong V, and the house codes became red. Here's also a look from Tom Ford that's a red look that Alessandro also attributed. So I feel like he could seamlessly kind of work with the house codes of Valentino as well. In 2007, he retired after 50 years, and Pier Paolo Paciuli became the creative director.
It's like Olympic. You run together, and then there's someone like me in a certain moment that I have all together, and I want to elaborate everything with the freedom. Because as Nietzsche used to say, there's a moment that you have to forget your past, being aware of your past. But there's a moment when you have to forget your past to build your future.
Pier Paolo also came from Fendi, and he ended up working at Valentino for 25 years. To sum this up, Kering purchased 30% of Valentino, and there was a departure of Piccoli. Kering knows how well Alessandro can perform. Gucci and Valentino basically did a swap. Sabato De Sarno, who worked very closely with Pacioli at Valentino, now he's going to be the creative director of Gucci. I believe Sabato is great for that. And you can see where Valentino could use maybe a little bit of life breathed into it. And Alessandro is great for that. So overall, I think this is a great move. Keep in mind that Gucci is a leather goods brand and Valentino is a couture first brand. Most of Valentino's sales are from accessories. I'm looking forward to seeing how the bags end up, how the shoes end up, what he really does with the styling and layering. In conclusion, I really enjoy Alessandro's time at Gucci. I thought it was super refreshing and super creative. I think it'll give Valentino a new customer, and you'll probably see a lot of growth for them as well. Alessandro's first showing for Valentino will be spring 2025 in January, so looking forward for that. Okay, so if you like this video, thank you so much. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Please drop a like, a comment, share this video, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.
Le sympathique anéantisseur et ancien supérieur, je ne sais plus.